Welcome, Wapham crew, guys, gals, ghouls, friends, fiends, and foes. Secure your tinfoil hats, buckle down tight, and hold on loosely as we soar off the La Platas on a Rocky Mountain high, get sucked into the vortex of the Four Corners, and settle down snugly at mile marker 420 in colorful Colorado. It is Sunday, March 31st, Monday, April 1st for those of you across the pond and beyond. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you, and happy Easter, or happy April Fool's Day, wherever you may be. I'm not sure what day it is for you right now, but I hope it's a happy day all the same. I'm your host, TessaTNT, and we are broadcasting live from a Mile High Clubhouse tonight. I'm so glad you could join us this evening, and I hope this weekend has been very awesome for you. If you've had a good time with the family and you're in good health, things are looking up. Spring has sprung. I went outside today and I saw that my lilac bush is actually starting to bloom, so one of the first signs of spring for me. And the warmer weather's been nice too. It's been a little windy, but that's generally normal as far as spring goes, to dry out the moisture that preceded it during the winter. Hopefully you had moisture. If you're listening live right now, you may be listening to us on KPNL Radio, which you can find at kpnl-db.com. KPNL Radio at kpnl-db.com. Find us on eTalk Radio, which you can find at etalk.tv/radio. We're also live right now on Facebook under We Are Paradox Media, as well as Four Corners Paranormal Investigations, and YouTube. If you don't mind, please mosey on over there and give us a like. Please subscribe. If you do subscribe, make sure you ding that little bell. That way next time there's an episode that comes out, you'll be made aware and you'll know we're still out here, despite other people's plans. So tonight I have a treat for all my guys and gals out there. Tonight we will be doing story time with me, TessaTNT, and so the last book that we have been reading, and this book is going to be over probably before the hour is out, but I have another book in backup, and I've been bouncing around between things. I tried to get The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy because I've never read it. I love the movie. I've heard a lot of good things about the book, so I'd like to read that and share that with you. And I believe there's like 4, maybe 5 in the series, so it's pretty cool. So this book is by Jean A Ellis, and it's called From the Dreamtime, Australian Aboriginal Legends. Lizard Woman. This legend comes from the Yuan people who lived in traditional times in a very rocky area of central Australia, the mysterious and majestic Uluru, the Great Rock, also known today as Ayers Rock. One day long ago, in the Dreamtime, some Jian women took their land off to have a picnic. They feasted long and well, and then sang songs and danced in the sunshine. The sound of their laughing, clapping, and singing could be heard a long way off. In the midst of their fun, an old man came striding along, followed by his pack of pet dingoes. He was a cross old man at the best of times, and just now he was in the middle of some special business. He became crosser than ever when he saw the picnickers just where he wanted to be. He did not want women and children to see what his business was, and being a bad-tempered and miserable person, he could not stand the sound of other people having fun. "I'll have to take my business somewhere else," he muttered angrily to himself as he stamped off in a different direction. His pack of dingoes behind him howling and barking in sympathy with their master's mood. The women and children heard the dingoes, and one of the women ran to see what the noise was about. She saw the pack barking and howling, but by this time the old man was out of sight, so she did not realize they had a master and were quite tame in spite of their noise. "Oh," she screamed, "there's a pack of wild dingoes just over there. I think they saw me. They will attack us. They will eat us. All the other women and all the children fully believed what she said, and no one went to see for themselves. In panic, they ran to the rockiest area of all, hoping they might be able to, it says hide, but I think it means hide, among the rocks or find a cave. As they ran, they called out of their ancestor spirits to help. Seeing their fear and distress, the spirits decided to grant them help. But, as often happened, they helped in an unexpected way. In a flash, the picnickers found themselves, each and every one, changed into a tiny lizard. Lizards can scurry quickly and hide easily, so they all found safe places and then began to relax and to understand what had happened to them. They were lizards forever and had to live out the rest of their lives among those rocks. Well, it was a good place for lizards, and still is. The lizards who live there now are timid and easily frightened, just as the first ones were. Hey Jay. Hello, happy Easter. The storytellers say that the women who first saw the dingoes and raised the alarm did not become a lizard like the rest. She was transformed instead into a tall rock which still stands there, as if she was keeping watch over her companions. Hundreds of tourists visit this area each month. They look at this lonely lookout rock, and maybe someone tells them the story. Then they try very hard not to frighten the many little lizards which scamper among the rocks. The first fire. All over the world, different cultures have legends to explain how humans first discovered fire. There are several legends of this sort from various parts of Australia. This one comes from the folklore of the Aboriginal people who lived in traditional times on the north coast of New South Wales. Long ago, back beyond even the Dreamtime, there was a group of people who did not live on the earth. They lived in the sky world. They had their camp near the two brightest stars so that they could light fire sticks from them, and they were the only people anywhere who had the use of fire. The people who lived on Earth had to manage without it. But even in the sky, campsite life was not always perfect, and a time came when there was not enough food. The most adventurous of those bravely decided to come down to the Earth world. We will hunt possums and collect some nuts and berries. It won't take long. We can bring back enough food for everyone, they told their companions. The two brothers brought their fire sticks to Earth with them and left them slowly smoldering while they went off hunting. But hunting possums turned out to be more difficult than they had expected. The time drew out, and the land was very good. The fire sticks became bored and began to play chasing. They were very clever at this game, maneuvering from place to place, and everywhere they touched the dry grass, it caught alight. Gradually, fires grew together and became one big fire. The smoke and flames could be seen from a long way off. As soon as the Sky Brothers saw the smoke, they left their hunting and hurried back to put out the flames. The Aboriginal people who lived in the area had also seen the smoke and had come to see what was going on. They had never seen fire before, and at first they were afraid. It did not take them long to realize, however, that the strange phenomenon could be useful to them. It could provide them with warmth, and the first few possums the Sky Brothers had caught were lying at the edge of the fire and had been cooked by it. The Earth people, attracted by the savory smell, examined the meat and realized they could make their own food more tender and tasty with fire. Before Canby and Jatabidi had finished putting out the fire, several of the Aboriginal men had lit fire sticks for themselves and were carrying them carefully back to their camps. We must watch over these carefully and keep them burning forever, they told Canby and Jitabidi quickly gathered up their playful fire sticks and returned to the campsite in the sky. They were both afraid, expecting the Earth people to inflict some terrible punishment on them for having caused such a disturbance. But no one wanted to punish them. The Earth people, being in awe of their sky visitors, had not spoken, but that was not because they were angry about the burnt grass. They were just too excited and grateful for this wonderful gift from the sky. The Master Artist. The Aboriginal people of Arnhem Land have many legends about their very special ancestors. Early in the Dreamtime, there lived a great artist called Marwai. Before him, there was little in the way of art, and little variety of color. What painting there was usually got washed away in the first rain or blew away in the first big wind. It was Marwai who learnt to mix all 6 of the principal colors still used in traditional art by crushing or grinding different substances and mixing them with water or with oil from melted animal fat. His paints were not only striking in color, they also lasted well on rock or bark, regardless of the passing of years. From the ochres of the rocks and earth, various mixtures of iron, lime, and clay, he made red, yellow, and brown paints. From lime, attained by crushing gypsum rock, he created white. Black he made from charcoal, and he derived gray/blue by mixing ash from the fire with oil. Marwai did not hoard his skills for himself and his group. He traveled from place to place, showing everyone who was interested how to make paints and how to use them to produce effective pictures. He shared his own precision and skill, how to paint figures in many different styles, and how to make symbolic patterns which could pass on a message to those who knew the secret. Traveling was no easier for Marwai than for anyone else. Often he had to shelter from bad weather or from danger. He did not waste that time, though. In rock crevices and caves, he painted picture stories for those who came later to enjoy and discuss. With his wonderful paintings to guide them, the artists of all the Aboriginal groups began to use their ways of expressing their beliefs. Painting became an integral part of sacred ritual forever after. The Marwais teach us down from generation to generation. Art became an absorbing and expressive life. The traditional people pictures in colored sands, and in the ordinary sand and dust. They painted them on bark, on trees, on their tools and weapons, and on flat rock surfaces. They chipped them into moss-covered areas and carved them into timber and slabs of sandstone. They painted their own bodies in intricately colored patterns and created collages by adding feathers, fur, and other natural objects. Much of this artwork, especially that which was meant to be permanent, cannot be easily understood by uninitiated people. The meaning is deeply sacred, and there were rituals involved in producing the painting itself. There are some works of art, however, which simply illustrate an entertaining story or record of a historical event, and anyone can be told about and enjoy these. It is said that the spirit of Marwai has hovered above each new generation of Aboriginal artists, guiding them. Even in very recent times, some Aboriginal artists who have become well known, like Yirawala, have said publicly that their skill in artistry is derived from the ancestor artist Marwai. The National Art Gallery in Canberra holds in trust a number of Yirawali's paintings, including several portraits of Marwai. beware of the bunyip. There are many legends from the Dreamtime about the large amphibious monsters, which most Australians nowadays call bunyips. Most of them show these creatures as quite ferocious, living in secluded waterholes, but able to walk on land. They terrorized the people who lived nearby because they were meat-eaters who stalked humans as well as animals. Bunyip legends come from many different places, and descriptions of the bunyip differ from place to place, ranging from a seal-like creature to a huge monster, rather like a dinosaur. As white settlers spread through the land after the first fleet of 1788, they were told of the fierce man-eating bunyips, and they too grew to fear them. For 100 years or more, most people of all cultures in Australia believed firmly bunyips existed. The places were where they were said to live treated with caution, and many sightings were reported. In the 20th century, however, it was increasingly realized that, in spite of the many verbal reports of sightings, none had been scientifically documented, and no bunyip remains had ever been found. After much debate, it was officially decided that bunyips existed only in people's imaginations. However, many people, both black and white, continue to believe that bunyips did once exist and may still. Scientists who study Australia's very early history, back to the Ice Age, have found that giant crocodiles and various forms of dinosaur giant crocodiles once inhabited the land. The time at which Aboriginal groups first is still in doubt, but seems to go at least 30,000 years back. So bunyips may originally have been described from sightings of these very early monsters, and people more recently, frightened by an unexpected animal of some sort, may have thought they saw the monster which had been described in the legends. In some parts of the world, various animals have been found recently still thriving, although they had been thought to be extinct. Could some of Australia's prehistoric animals still exist? Perhaps there may come a time when there is an officially accepted, scientifically documented sighting of a bunyip. So keep your eyes in. The first sunrise. The traditional Aboriginal people studied the sky very well. They knew the positions of all the major stars. They could predict the changing patterns of the moon and the seasonal effects of the sun. Many different Dreamtime legends were told about the stars, the sun, and the moon, and how each came into being. This particular legend comes from the Aboriginal people from the area now called Arnhem Land. Before the Dreamtime, there was a time when the people of the world was in complete darkness. The people spent their entire lives in the dark and cold. The sun was already in its place in the upper sky and shone as it does now, but the second sky hung like a blanket beneath it, so that none of its warmth and light reached the earth. Hold on 1 second, my daughter just messaged me. Yeah, I missed out on East Day with the family because I was sick, so give me just a moment. It looks like she's coming by. Hang on. Okay, let me just get back to her really quick. It was pretty good as far as like I was able to, being that I got my tax returns, have a good Easter for those I love as far as like gifting them. I know gifts aren't the most important thing, but I was able to buy some things for all the peeps I love. Not everyone, but those closest to me. And yeah, I just hate that I missed Bungy's second Easter. My grandson, he's so precious. And then time with the kids as well, and Deanie and Charlie. I don't get to see them very often, but yeah, I woke up, did the Easter thing with the kids before they went to the ranch, and then went back to sleep until about 4, got up, ate, and then got everything set up and kicked off. But yeah, I hope everyone had a good Easter, and I don't know, I hope it was pleasant. I'm not sure how many more we're going to have after this, but I'm pretty intrigued by what's going to happen with this solar eclipse. You know, it could be like the year 2000 or 2012, all these different times that people say that things are going to happen, but let's get back to the book. Just going to go back to before the dream time. There was a time when the world was in complete darkness. The people spent their entire lives in the dark and cold. The sun was already in its place in the upper sky and shone as it does now. But the second sky hung like a blanket beneath it, so that none of its warmth and light reached the earth. A group of black and white magpies shared this bleak existence with the first people, and like them, were very disturbed by the perpetual darkness. One day the magpie leader called a meeting. "You must try to push aside the second sky," he told the other magpies. The other magpies chattered and shook their heads. "We can't. We are much too weak," they all told him. "I believe you would be strong enough if all of you were to push hard at it together," he said. And because he was their leader and they respected his wisdom, they listened attentively in spite of their doubts. "If we could manage to move it, then perhaps some light and warmth would come through to us," he added. And suddenly, at the thought of this, they all became very happy to try. They flew up to the sky and carefully positioned themselves. On the command from their leader, each magpie pushed with all his might against the second sky. A great cheer went up as the sky moved, just a little. It was completely flat, like a board, and they had lifted it slightly. They managed to rest it on some boulders for a moment, while they got their breath back. Then they placed themselves to push as hard as possible against the second sky in its new position. Sure enough, when their leader gave the word, they were able to push it higher still. This was very encouraging. Summoning all the strength they possessed, they pushed harder than they could have believed possible. And the second sky rose higher and higher. Still, the world was in darkness. They began to feel disappointed that all this effort made no difference. Their leader saw that they were discouraged and exhausted. "Place the sky gently on that mountaintop," he said, "and you can all take a rest." The magpies were so tired and discouraged, but they were a bit careless. They lost control of the heavy, flat, awkward sky, and suddenly it fell from their grasp. It crashed noisily to the earth below, splitting into hundreds of pieces. There was terrible confusion among the magpies for a moment as they flew around in all directions, horrified by what they had done. Then suddenly they realized they could see the broken sky lying on the ground. There was light. The sun was no longer hidden from view, and they turned and looked at the upper sky. What a magnificent sight it was! The sun could be seen, and its light and warmth were flooded across the earth. The magpies sang in chorus a song of excitement and triumph. Their leader's plan had succeeded beyond hopes. As they flew around in delight, they watched the people of the whole earth, who had stopped in their tracks and tasked, and were looking up in awe and wonder at the sun and at the celebrating magpies. The people all began to dance and sing, and the magpies also danced and sang with them. It was the most exciting day in all their lives. The Aboriginal people of Arnhem Land have repeated this story from generation to generation and have continued to feel fondness for the ingenious magpies. Right to this day, each new sunrise is greeted with the unmistakable warble of magpies, as is their right. Next time you are in the bush at dawn, you might like to listen for their song and celebrate with them, because the darkness is only at night and not all the time. I have a certain sort of relationship with magpies. So I don't know if you guys believe in like our lost loved ones coming in the form of like a butterfly or a bird or whatnot. But yeah, going back to the magpie, they're very intelligent, very different relative to the crow and the macaw. Sorry, not the macaw. Raven, the crow and the raven. Kind of like a cousin, but they're very intelligent, very smart, and yeah, one time I believe it was my mom come and visit. First time was as a magpie, and the second time was as a robin, I believe. But yeah, that was pretty interesting. And I also had to save a magpie from the front porch. It got in and was confused by all the windows and couldn't find its way out. So I had to take my shirt that I got from my grandpa and throw it at him and wrap him up and then let him or her go. But yeah, it came back and visited several times, so that was pretty cool. The Cunha Rocks. Long ago in the Dreamtime, two separate Aboriginal groups, the Woma and the Cunha, lived together in the desert area of Central Australia. Near the mighty rock of Uluru, they lived peacefully in the same area, sharing their food and whatever water was available, and giving each other support. There came a time, however, when the Cunha people longed for a campsite of their own. They still felt friendly towards the peaceful Woma people, but more than anything else, they felt the need to have a place which was solely their own. After much discussion by the elders, the Cunha decided to move from the desert plains to a rocky area not too far distant. "We like the rocks and boulders," they explained to the Woma. "If we make our camp among them, they will give us shelter," as they made their new camp right at the base of Uluru. It was a hard life that they had chosen, for though there were springs of water nearby, food was not always so easy to gather. But this did not daunt them. With hard work and skill, they managed to maintain a good living, and for some years, they were contented, pleased with their decision to be independent. One day, however, a party of men came from the west. Like the Cunha and the Woma, they were fierce warriors, and without warning, they set upon the Cunha and killed them. The next day, a Woma man came to visit his old friends. Instead of a cheerful welcome, he found a silent camp with all its people lying slaughtered. He was overcome with grief and fear. So distraught was he that his ancestor spirits felt they should change him. Suddenly, he became a small snake. The snake, still very disturbed, quickly swayed to hide behind a pile of rocks. Shocked and saddened by the violent deaths of the gentle Cunha, the ever-watchful ancestor spirits did not think it right that their bodies should be left unattended and unburied. They changed each one into a smooth-edged stone. These stones they left there, clustered pathetically together, just as the Cunha people had been when they died, adults and young children. So some of the stones were large and some small, and they have lain untouched since that time. There's a kind of small snake that lives and will only live in the red sandhills of Central Australian desert. To this day, that kind of snake nervously hides behind rocks and in crevices, just like the grief-stricken Woma man. who became the first of them. As the tourists to Uluru look around the area nowadays, some say they sense a deep aura of sadness among the silent Kunia rocks. Anyone who knows this story can understand why it should be so. Stone fish traps. From various areas throughout New South Wales, there are many Dreamtime legends which tell of kindness of Biami, the father of all. Living in the sky world, he never ceased to watch over and help the earthly people he had created. This story comes from the Aboriginal people who once lived in the area where the town of Brewarrina now stands. In the Dreamtime, if this area became bored with eating the birds and possums and kangaroos they knew how to catch. They wanted to eat fish as well, as they saw some of the other creatures did. The spears that they had were heavy and ideal for hunting land animals, but difficult to throw fast enough to catch a fish in their hands or with a lucky spear thrust. But they found no way to catch fish regularly. One day, the elders of the group had a long discussion. Since nothing they could think of themselves has worked, they decided to ask their creator, Biami, for help. To show their respect for the father of all, they prepared themselves by painting their bodies and putting on very beautiful and elaborate decorations. Then the young men produced a spectacular corroboree. They had created a dance which mimed their desperation, and as the dancers sprang and tumbled, the rest of the group clapped and chanted a special song which asked Biami for help. Biami looked down from his sky world. He saw how carefully they had prepared their corroboree to please him. He watched the talented dancers and he listened as the chanting echoed on and up through the darkness of the night, and he was as pleased as they had hoped. They're clever and creative people, he told his spirit friends. They deserve to be helped, so I will show them how to catch many fish. He called for his two sons and transformed them to look like earthly men, and then he sent them down to help. Quickly, they found their way to the group's camp and introduced themselves. We have come to help you. Our father Biami has sent us. The people were delighted with this answer to their plight, and each of them was happy to do whatever was asked. The two brothers told them that, to begin with, they should gather as many stones as possible and carry them to the river's edge, and everyone quickly joined in the work. Then the brothers showed them how to use the stones to build walls in the water, arranged so that they would become traps for the fish. Everyone watched and listened and learned. Within a few days, directed by Biami's sons, they had constructed several large, strong, circular walls. Now they could see exactly what they had achieved. Whenever the water in the river rose, it would be higher than the walls, and the fish would swim over them. When the water fell again, fish would be left stranded in the walled-up sections, and it would be quite easy to catch them. They were very excited, wondering when the next rain would fall to raise the water. Biami's sons had completed the task he had given them. They said goodbye to their new friends and returned to their father in the sky world. But once the world began to create another corroboree, equally colorful and energetic, but this time full of their joy and gratitude. From that time onward, whenever a large number of fish were caught in the walls as the water fell, the people danced that joyful corroboree again, so that it was learned by each new generation in turn. And Biami always watched from his sky world and was pleased. White settlers first came to this area towards the end of the 19th century. They were surprised to find neatly built stone walls enclosing areas of the riverbed, and to see that they were very efficient traps for fish. When they asked about them, the Aboriginal people told this ancient story. The Lightning Man. Today, scientists can't explain the cause of lightning. We accept it as a natural phenomenon. Traditional Aboriginal people accepted it too, but like many people today, they were cautious of it. There are Dreamtime legends from many areas about lightning and sometimes terrible effects. The legends vary from place to place, but many of them agree in depicting lightning as an element of rage. This legend is from Arnhem Land, where the lightning has always been given human form. The lightning man was called Walu Anayu. Wala Anayua lived in a waterhole in the river now known as the Liverpool River. Much of the time he lived peacefully, going quietly ashore now and then to hunt the wallabies, which grazed in great numbers under the nearby palm trees. The local people knew, however, that Wala Anayu was very easily angered. If an Aboriginal hunter was foolish enough to venture into that territory, a bolt of lightning would strike him down. Wala Unayua would also be angered if a stone was accidentally, or worse, still deliberately tossed into his waterhole. Then he would leap into the sky and create a ferocious storm. It was at its most, however, during the wet heat of the monsoon season. As soon as the monsoon rain began to fall, Wala Unayua would fly into an uncontrollable rage. In that rage, he would travel across the sky, hiding in thick clouds, and his angry voice would thunder, crashing across the land. Flashing the lightnings and legs, he would savagely attack the earth, throwing down the trees and leaving a stricken landscape in his path. As the monsoon season came to an end, he would gradually become calmer, eventually returning quietly to his own waterhole. There he would stay, always on the watch, ready to strike out again if anyone or anything dared disturb him. The first kangaroos. The traditional Aboriginal people of Arnhem Land handed down a vast collection of Dreamtime legends. Many of them explain the origins or the special characteristics of the various animals who were such an important part of everyday life for one generation after another. Very early in the beginning of the Dreamtime, there were no kangaroos in this land. A group of men were out hunting one day when suddenly they were hit by the worst windstorm they had ever experienced. Large trees were blown over, small ones were carried away into the sky, and huge boulders were tossed around like pebbles in a children's game. The hunters were lucky to reach the safety of a cave. They sat in its shelter and watched them take its course. After a while, they were amazed to see a band of animals being carried across the sky by the wind. They had never seen animals of this sort before. The men shook their heads in bewilderment as they discussed this extraordinary sight and realized that the creatures must have been brought by the wind from a distant place that no one in their group had ever visited. The animals were quite large and covered in fur. They had small heads and short front legs. It was obvious that they were very distressed at being blown through the wild air. Frantically, they kept stretching out their hands, legs, and their tails in an effort to make contact with the ground. The hunters watched keenly from their cave as the animals strained and battled desperately against the wind. At last, some of them did manage to find a toehold and a tailhold and anchored themselves to solid earth. The windstorm began to pass, and the animals which had forced their way down were left behind. The watching hunters could now see that the animals had overstretched themselves in order to desperately reach the ground. Their hind legs and tails were elongated out of all proportion to the rest of their bodies. It really looked quite strange, but the animals themselves did not seem particularly upset, because they were so pleased to be on steady ground that mattered. So far, the hunters had been watching all this as an amazing event that would make a good story. They took it for granted that the animals would run away immediately, trying to get back to their own land. It seemed, however, that although the animals were tired and bewildered, they were also inquisitive. They began to look for shade, grass, and water, and quickly found them. This was exactly the sort of place they liked, and it soon became clear that they had decided to stay. Today, kangaroos roam wild and free in great numbers in Arnhem Land, as they do in most other bush and mountain areas of Australia. I heard a rumor recently, and I actually think I saw it on some news channel that I follow, but there have been kangaroos sighted in the northeast of America? Pretty trippy. Flowers of blood. The Aboriginal people who lived in traditional times in the area now known as Central Australia handed down a wealth of Dreamtime legends, which are complex and varied in content. This is rather a sad one. Curlimil was a pretty young girl, kind and carefree. She fell in love with a fine young man called Barola, and they wanted to get married. But it was the elders who made the rules about marriage. You must marry Chilta, they told Curlimil. But I don't like him, she protested. He's old and cross. That is true, the elders admitted, but he says he will be good to you. You must obey our decision. When she heard this, she began to cry. When Barola saw her, he tried to comfort her. What can we do? She sobbed. We could run away, he suggested. Curlimil agreed, although she knew it was dangerous. The young couple waited until after dark, and then together they left that camp. They journeyed a long way, and at last came to the shores of the beautiful lake where some of the Barola's relatives were living. Here they were married, and together they lived happily for many seasons. Did not forget Curlimil, however. He was filled with rage and hatred whenever he thought of how he had been tricked, and he planned his revenge. He kept trying to find out where the young couple had gone, and at last he heard of them from some traveling hunters. He decided to take some men with him and attack the lakeside camp, and he chose his companions carefully. Cruel and mean fighters, they crept up stealthily on the peaceful camp by night, and without warning attacked the sleeping people. Aroused suddenly, the lakeside people fought bravely, but surprise gave the advantage to the attackers. Everyone in the camp was killed, including Curlimil and Barola. It was a cruel battle. By the time Chilta and his friends walked away, the grassland all around was stained with blood. The ancestor spirits watching from the sky world were very distressed. They knew that Curlimil, Barola, and the friends who had accepted them had been good people who did not deserve to die in such a way. So distressed were the spirits, in fact, that they cried for many days. Tears rolled without ceasing into the nearby lakes so that the water in them became quite salty. One season later, cruel Chilta went back to the shores of the lake to gloat over the bodies of the people he had killed and enjoy his victory. He was still proud of the cowardly revenge he had taken, but he found no bodies to gloat over. Instead, there were mass upon mass of beautiful scarlet flowers, which the ancestor spirits had caused to grow from the blood of the good people who had been murdered. In this way, they had ensured that they would not be forgotten. When Chilta saw the flowers, he realized what had happened, and he became very frightened. Those same spirits might be hovering overhead at that very moment. Watching him, he turned to run away. As he did so, a spirit spear flew through the air and struck him in the back. Spirit spears do not miss. He fell dead and was instantly changed into a pebble. indistinguishable from all the rest that had been under his feet a moment before. To this day, the inland lakes of that area hold only salt water, as if the ancestor spirits' tears remain, bearing witness to their grief. Flowers such as Tilta saw still bloom in great numbers in the outback of Central Australia. Most people call them Stewart's Desert Pea, but those who know the story of Perlimo and Barola call them flowers of blood. Bid Juan goodbye. Since the dawn of time, the many thousands of Aboriginal groups, which were settled right across Australia, have each been governed by a succession of elders. Each in turn used his experience of life and the knowledge which had been handed down to make life pleasant for the members of his group. Each in turn became respected according to his wisdom. Here is a legend from the Juan people who lived in traditional times in Central Australia about an elder who was especially loved by his people. A large and widespread group had one elder who had done more than any other to help them. He had taught them especially good techniques for hunting. He had taught them to be peaceful and had showed them ways to avoid warfare, even when there were disputes. He had taught them to share their food and help each other in every way. He had taught them not to take their good things for granted of life and the riches of nature, but to appreciate the warm sunshine, the rain, the plants and animals they had for food, and those they saw around them, noticing their beauty and their wonder. He had taught them not to complain and not to be depressed if they experienced hard times. He believed that if people would think deeply, work hard and help each other, any troubles would soon pass. The people of his group believed in his wisdom, following his advice in all they did. They prospered and were happy. At last he realized that his life was nearly over. He decided to travel to every campsite of his people, reminding them once more of all that he had taught them. As he left each group, he sang them a goodbye song, which they would always remember and hand on through generations. He sang in the language of the Juan people. But this is what the song meant. While I lived on Earth, I had very special people around me. There were always animals, birds, and water creatures in abundance. I felt that the sun and the moon and the stars were mine. While I lived on Earth, I had everything I ever needed. I will be going away from this world soon, very soon. I will be leaving you forever, leaving this land that I love. You will not see me again. You will not see me, but I will be watching over you always. I will be watching over you all forever. The people at each campsite listened to the song in silence, sadly imagining life without this wise and beloved leader. Soon after he had hit the last of all the campsites, the old man quietly died. The Jauan knew that they must have a leader, and they soon chose the right man, old enough for wisdom and young enough to lead them for many years. They knew, though, that their past leader would never be forgotten. After a while, people began to believe that the hazy part of the night sky, which we now call the Milky Way, was from his sky world camp. There he is, they would say. He's up there watching over us, just as he promised in his song. And they were happy to know he was there, guiding and guarding his people throughout their days. Dang, that's the end of that book. I thought we had one more to go before this next break, but I really enjoyed this book. So since we have a little bit of time, I'll read the back of it again, and also let you know like who wrote this, and perhaps you can look it up and find it if you would like to. From the Dreamtime, Australian Aboriginal Legends. For the Aboriginal people of Australia, the Dreamtime is the beginning of the world, but it is also yesterday, today, and forever. From the Dreamtime comes a rich and wonderful lore, which tells of the creation of Earth, Sun, Moon, and stars, why the animals look the way they do, how the great ancestor spirits loved and looked after their people. This collection of legends from different areas of Australia reflects the vivid imagination, strong sense of drama, and above all, the intimate understanding of nature that is characteristic of Aboriginal people of Australia. Jean A Ellis, who is the author, chosen stories which will appeal to readers interested in traditional myths and legends, readers who want an insight into the surviving traditions of Australian Aboriginal peoples, and to readers who want fresh and lively stories to tell their children. And I must agree, I really did enjoy this book, and I'm so glad I found it at the Durango Library. So now I gotta decide which book to read next. So on that note, boys and girls, we are gonna go to our first music break. On this break, we have the lovely and talented Miss Mia Savage. She was on the show last night, and I'm so grateful that she did show up. And she's going to be singing Your Skeleton, Ornery, Let Me Be Your Home, and Lemire and Crypto. You guys don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this music break.
No matter how I Knock him
Welcome back, Wappum crew. Happy Easter. Thanks so much for hanging out with me tonight, or downloading and listening later if that's how you choose to do it. It's all good. I still feel you. So we just finished our book from the Dreamtime, Australian Aboriginal Legends by Jean A Ellis. And I had a few books stacked up, can't find exactly where they're at. And this was the next in the slot. And I wasn't quite sure if I wanted to do this one, but hey, let's do it. So this one is by Sue Crafton. K is for Killer. Let's go ahead and read the intro. Lorna Kepler was beautiful and willful, a loner who couldn't resist flirting with danger. Maybe that's what killed her. Her death had raised a host of tough questions. Cops suspected homicide, but they could not find neither motive nor suspect. Even the means were mysterious. Lorna's body was so badly decomposed when it was discovered that they couldn't be certain she hadn't died of natural causes. In the way of overworked cops everywhere, the case was gradually shifted to the back burner and became another unsolved file. Only Lorna's mother kept it alive, consumed by the certainty that somebody out there had gotten away with murder. Moida. In the 10 months since her daughter's death, Janice Kepler had joined a support group, trying to come to terms with her loss and her anger. It wasn't helping, and so leaving a session one evening and noticing a light on in the offices of Milhone Investigations, she knocked on the door. In answering that knock, Kinsey Milhone is pulled into the netherworld of unavenged murder, where only a pact of the devil will satisfy the restless ghosts of the victims and give release to the living they have left behind. 11 books into the series that has won her readers around the world, Sue Grafton takes a dark side turn, pitch into a shadowland of pain and grief, where killers still walk free, unaccused, unpunished, unrepentant. With K is for Killer, she offers a tale that is dark, complex, and deeply disturbing. Alright, so this woman is quite crafty. Just look at this. She's got different books. A is for alibi, B is for burglar, C is for corpse, D is for deadbeat, E is for evidence, F is for fugitive, G is for gumshoe, which is a detective, H is for homicide, I is for innocent, J is for judgment, K is for killer. Book for book, this may be the most satisfying mystery series going. Tom Nolan, The Wall Street Journal. The best first-person singular storytelling in detective novels. Mark Harris, Entertainment Weekly. Crafton has moved the private eye story closer to real life than did either Hammett or Chandler. Dick Locke, Los Angeles Times Book Review. Now at work on L, Sue Grafton. Sue Grafton is current president of the Mystery Writers of America, and she lives in Santa Barbara, California. I'm also interested to see, when was this printed? I always want to know that when I start a book. Not that it matters, but I'm just curious. So this was printed in '94. For Mary Lawrence Young and crew, Richard Laurie and Taylor Lawrence and Mary Taylor. And of course the dogs, Sadie and Haley, Proto and Emmy, Oz, Bob, Dee, Lily and Tog, and cats. Yukio, Ace, Carmen and Kit. And beloved Charmine, much missed. Acknowledgements. The author wishes to acknowledge the invaluable assistance of the following people: Stephen Humphrey, Susan Ahorinian, Treatment Supervisor, and Joanne Foltz. Water Treatment Plant, Larry Gillespie, Santa Barbara County Coroner, Lieutenant Terry Bristol, Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Office, Detective Tom Miller, Santa Barbara Police Department, Jody Knoll, Wells Fargo Bank, Michael Creek, KMGQ, Hildy Hoffman, Secretary to the Mayor and Council City of Santa Barbara, Toke Shink, RN, and the CCU nursing staff, Santa Barbara Cottage Hospital, Bobby Klein, RN, Guest Director of Emergency Room, Santa Barbara Cottage Hospital, and Craig Wirtz, Clean Pools, Santa Barbara. A is for killer. Chapter 1. The statutory definition of homicide is the unlawful killing of one human being by another. Sometimes the phrase with malice is employed, the concept serving to distinguish murder from the numerous other occasions in which people deprive each other of life. Wars and executions coming foremost to mind. Malice in the law doesn't necessarily convey hatred or even ill will, but refers instead to a conscious desire to inflict serious injury or cause death, and the main criminal homicide is an intimate personal affair, insofar as most homicide victims are killed by close relatives, friends, or acquaintances. Reason enough to keep your distance, if you're asking me. In Santa Teresa, California, approximately 85% of all criminal homicides are resolved, meaning that the assailant is identified, apprehended, and the question of guilt or innocence is adjudicated by the courts. The victims of unsolved homicides I think of as the unruly dead, persons who reside in a limbo of their own, some state between life and death, restless, dissatisfied, longing for release. It's a fanciful notion for someone not generally given to flights of imagination. But I think of these souls locked in an uneasy relationship with those who have killed them. I've talked to homicide investigators who've been caught up in similar reveries, haunted by certain and their desire for vindication. In the hazy zone, where wakefulness shades and fades into sleep, in that leading moment, just before the thinks, below conscious, one can sometimes hear them murmuring. They mourn themselves, who sing a lullaby of murdered. They whisper the names of their attackers, those men and women who still walk the earth, unidentified, unaccused, unpunished, unrepentant. On such nights, I do not sleep well. I lie awake listening, hoping to catch a syllable, a phrase, straining to discern in that roll call of conspirators the name of one killer. Lorna Kepler's murder ended up affecting me that way, though I didn't learn the facts of her death until months afterward. It was mid-February, a Sunday, when I was working late. Little Miss Virtue, organizing itemized expenses and assorted business receipts for my tax return. I decided it was time to handle matters like a grown-up, instead of shoving everything into a shoebox and delivering it to my accountant at the very last minute. Talk about cranky. Each year, the man positively bellows at me, and I have to swear I'll reform, a vow I take seriously, until tax time rolls around again and I realize my finances are in complete disarray. I was sitting at my desk in the law firm where I rent office space. The night outside was chilly by the usual California definition, which is to say 50 degrees. I was the only one on the premises, ensconced in a halo of warm, sleep-induced light, while the other offices remained dark, quiet. I just put on a pot of coffee to counteract the narcolepsy that afflicts me at the approach to money matters. I laid my head on the desk, listening to the soothing gargle of the water as it filtered through the coffee maker. Even the smell of mocha java was not sufficient to stimulate my torpid senses. Five more minutes, and I'd be out like a light, drooling on my blotter with my right cheek picking up inky messages in reverse. I heard a tap at the side entrance, and I lifted my head, tilting an ear in that direction, like a dog on alert. It was nearly 10 o'clock. I wasn't expecting any visitors. I roused myself, left my desk, and out into the hallway. I cocked my head against the side door leading out into the hall. The tap was repeated much louder. I said, "Yes?" I heard a woman's muffled voice in response. "Is this Milhone Investigations?" "We're closed." "What?" "Hang on." Put the chain on the door and opened it a crack, peering out at her. She was on the far side of 40. Her outfit of the urban cowgirl sort, boots, faded jeans, and a buckskin shirt. She wore enough heavy silver and turquoise jewelry to look like she would clank. She had dark hair, nearly to her waist, worn loose, faintly frizzy, and dyed the color of oxblot shoes. "Sorry to bother you, but the directory downstairs says there's a private investigator out in the suite. Is he in, any chance?" Well, more or less," I said. "But these aren't actual office hours. Is there any way you can come back tomorrow? I'll be happy to set up an appointment for you once I check my book." "Are you his secretary?" Her tan face was an irregular oval, lines cutting down along each side of her nose. 4 lines between her eyes were the brows, where the brows were plucked to nothing and reframed in black. She'd used the same sharpened pencil to line her eyelids too, though she wore no other makeup that I could see. I tried not to sound irritated since the mistake is not uncommon. "I'm him," I said. "Milhone Investigations. The first name is Kinsey." "Did you tell me yours?" "No, I didn't. And I'm sorry. I'm Janice Kepler. Must think I'm a complete idiot." "Well, not complete," I thought. She reached out to shake hands and then realized the crack in the doorway wasn't large enough to permit contact. She pulled her hand back. "It never occurred to me that you'd be a woman. I've been seeing the Milhone Investigations on the board in the stairwell. I come here for a support group once a week down a floor. I've been thinking I'd call, but I guess I never worked up my nerve. Then tonight, as I was leaving, I saw the light on from the parking lot. I hope you don't mind. I'm actually on my way to work, so I don't have that long." "What sort of work?" I asked, stalling. "Shift manager at Frankie's coffee shop on Upper State Street. 11 to 7, which makes it hard to take care of any daytime appointments." Sorry, just gotta check my speaker really quick. Okay, I'm on. "I usually go to bed at 8 in the morning and don't get up until late afternoon. Even if I could just tell you my problem, it'd be a big relief. Then, if it turns out it's not the sort of work you do, maybe you could recommend someone else? I could really use some help, but I don't know where to turn. Your being a woman might make it easier." The penciled eyebrows went up in an imploring double arch. I hesitated. Support group, I thought? Drink? Drugs? Codependency? If the woman was Looney Tunes, I'd really like to know. Behind her, the hall was empty, looking flat and faintly yellow in the overhead light. Running Kingman's takes up the entire 3rd floor except for 2 public restrooms, one large M and one W. It was always possible she had a couple of M Confederates lurking in the commode, ready at a single jump to out and attack me. For what purpose, I couldn't think. Any money I had was being forced to give to the Fed pinpoint. "Just a minute," I said. I closed the door and slid the chain off its tracks, opening the door again so I could admit her. She moved past me, crackling brown paper bag in her arms. Her perfume was musky, the scent reminiscent of saddle soap and sawdust. She seemed ill at ease, Her manner infected by an edgy combination of apprehension and embarrassment. The brown paper bag seemed to contain papers of some sort. It was in my car. I didn't want you to think I carried it around with me ordinarily. I'm in here, I said. I moved into my office with the woman close on my heels. I indicated a chair for her and watched as she sat down, placing the paper bag on the floor. I pulled up a chair for myself. I figured if we sat on opposite sides of my desk, she'd check out my deductible expenses, which were none of her business. I'm the current expert at reading upside down and seldom hesitate to insert myself into matters that are not my concern. What support group? I asked. I just have to mention I can read upside down too, and it's kind of weird. It's for parents of murdered children. My daughter died here last April, Lorna Kepler. She was found in her cottage over by the mission. I said, "Oh, yes, I remember, though I thought there was some speculation about the cause of death." "Not in my mind," she said tartly. "I don't know how she died, but I know she was murdered, just as sure as I'm sitting here." She reached up and tucked a long ribbon of loose hair behind her right ear. The police never did come up with a suspect, and I don't know what kind of luck they're going to have after all this time. Somebody told me for every day that passes, the chances diminish, but I forget the percentage. Unfortunately, that's true. She leaned over and rooted in the paper bag, pulling a photograph in a billfold frame. "This is Lorna. You probably saw this in the papers at the time." She held up the picture and I took it, staring down at the girl. Not a face I'd forget. She was in her early 20s, with dark hair pulled smoothly away from her face, a swatch of hair hanging down the middle of her back. She had clear hazel eyes with a nearly oriental tilt, dark, cleanly arched brows, a wide mouth, straight nose. She was wearing a white blouse with a long snowy white scarf wrapped several times around her neck, a dark navy blue blazer and faded blue jeans on a slender frame. She stared directly at the camera, smiling slightly, her hands tucked down in her front pockets. She was against a floral print wall, the paper showing lavish pale pink climbing roses against a white background. I returned the picture, wondering what in the world to say under the circumstances. "She's very beautiful," I murmured. "When was that taken?" "About a year ago. I had to bug her to get this. She's my youngest, just turned 25. She was hoping to be a model, but it didn't work out." "You must have been young when you had her." 21, she said. "I was 17 with Berlin. I got married because of her. 5 months gone and I was big as a house. I'm still with her daddy," which surprised everyone, including me, I guess. "I was 19 with my middle daughter. Her name's Trini. She's real sweet." Lorna's the one I nearly died with. Poor thing. Got up one morning, day before I was due, and started hemorrhaging. I didn't know what was happening. Blood was everywhere. It was just like a river pouring out between my legs. I've never seen anything like it. The doctor didn't think he could save either of us, but we pulled through. "You have children, Miss Milholm?" "Nikki Kinsey," I said. "I'm not married." She smiled slightly. "Just between us, Lorna really was my favorite. Probably because she was such a problem all her life." I hate favors. I just got a special delivery. I got a Reese's peanut butter bunny and some Reese's catchphrases. So I guess they're little tiny eggs or something. Hi, Sister Sandra. Yeah, Vern just delivered me some chocolate peanut butter goodies. Anyway, I know what it's like to have your heart ripped out. I probably look like an ordinary woman, but I'm a zombie. The living dead, maybe a little bit cracked. We've been going to this support group. Somebody suggested it, and I thought it might help. I was ready to try anything to get away from the pain. Mace, that's my husband, went a few times and then quit. He couldn't stand the stories, couldn't stand all the suffering compressed in one room. He wants to shut it out, get shed of it, get clean. I don't think it's possible, but there's no arguing the point. To each his own, as they say. I can't even imagine what it must be like, I said. And I can't describe it either. That's the hell of it. We're not like regular people anymore. You have a child murdered, and from that moment on, you're from some other planet. You don't speak the same language as other folks. Even in this support group, we seem to speak different dialects. Everybody hangs on to their pain, like it was some special license to suffer. You can't help it. We all think ours is the worst case we ever heard. Lorna's murder hasn't been solved, so naturally, we think our anguish is more acute because of it. Some other family, maybe their child's killer got caught and he served a few years, now out on the street again, and that's what they have to live with, knowing some fellas walking around smoking cigarettes, drinking beers, having themselves a good old time every Saturday night while their child is dead. Or the killer's still in prison. And it'll be that he's warm, he's safe. He gets 3 meals a day and the clothes on his back. He might be on death row, but he won't actually die. Hardly anybody does unless they beg to be executed. Why should they? All those soft-hearted lawyers go to work, systems set up to keep them alive while our kids are dead for the rest of time. Painful, I said. Yes, it is. I can't even tell you how much that hurts. I sit downstairs in that room and I listen to all the stories, and I don't know what to do. It's not like it makes my pain any less, but at least it makes it part of something. Without the support group, Lorna's death just evaporates. It's like nobody cares. It's not even something people talk about anymore. We're all wounded, so I don't feel so cut off. I'm not separate from them. Our emotional injuries just come in different forms. Her tone throughout was nearly matter of fact, and the dark-eyed look she gave me then seemed all the more painful because of it. I'm telling you all this because I don't want you to think I'm crazy. At least, any more than I actually am. You have a child murdered, and you go berserk. Sometimes you recover and sometimes you don't. What I'm saying is, I know I'm obsessed. I think about Lorna's killer way more than I should. Whoever did this, I want him punished. I want this laid to rest. I want to know why he did it. I want to tell him to face exactly what he did to my life the day he took hers. The psychologist who runs the group, she says I need to find a way to get my power back. She says it's better to get mad than to go on feeling heartsick and defenseless, so that's why I'm here. I guess that's the long and short of it. Taking action, I said. You bet. Not just talking. I'm sick and tired of talk. It gets nowhere. You're going to have to do a bit more talking if you want my help. You want some coffee? I know that. I'd love some. Black is fine. I filled 2 mugs and added milk to mine, saving my questions until I was seated. I reached for the legal pad on my desk and picked up a pen. I hate to make you go through the whole thing again, but I really need to have the details, at least as much as you know. I understand. Maybe that's why it took me so long to come up here. I've told this story probably like 600 times, but it never gets any easier. She blew on the surface of her coffee and then took a sip. That's good coffee, strong. I hate drinking coffee too weak. It's no taste. Anyway, let me think how to say this. I guess what you have to understand about Lorna is she was an independent little cuss. She did everything her way. She didn't care what other people thought, and she didn't feel what she did was anybody else's. She'd been asthmatic as a child and ended up missing quite a bit of school, so she never did well in her classes. She was smart but she was out half the time. Poor thing was allergic to just about everything. She didn't have many friends. She couldn't spend the night at anybody's house because other little girls always seemed to live with pets or house dusts, mold, or whatnot. She outgrew a lot of that as she matured, but she was always on medication for one thing or another. I make a point of this because I think it had a profound effect on the way she turned out. She was antisocial, bull-headed, and uncooperative. She had a defiance, I think, because she was used to being by herself, doing what, and I might have spoiled her some. Children sense when they have the power to cause you distress. Makes them tyrants to some extent. Lorna didn't understand about pleasing other people. Ordinary give and take. She was a nice person, and she could be generous if she wanted, but she wasn't what you'd call loving or nurturing. She paused. I don't know how I got off on that, but I meant to talk about something else, if I can think what it was. She frowned, blinking, and I could see her consult some interior agenda. There was a moment or two of silence while I drank my coffee and she drank hers. Finally, her memory clicked, and she brightened, saying, "Oh yes, sorry about that." She shifted in her chair and took up the narrative. Asthma medication sometimes cause her insomnia. Everybody thinks antihistamines make you drowsy, which they can, of course, but it isn't the deep sleep you need for ordinary rest. She didn't like to sleep, even grown. She got by on as little as 3 hours sometimes. I think she was afraid of lying down. It always seemed to aggravate her wheezing. She got in the habit of roaming around at night when everybody else was asleep. Who'd she hang out with? Did she have friends or just ramble on her own? Other night owls, I guess. An FM disc jockey for one. The guy on that all-night jazz station. I can't remember his name, but you might know if I said it. And there was a nurse on the night shift at St. Terry's, Serena Bowman. Lorna actually worked for Serena's husband at the water treatment plant. I made a note to myself. I'd have to check on both if I decided to help. What sort of job? It was just part-time, 1 to 5 for the city, doing clerical work. Typing and filing, answering the telephone. She'd be up half the night and then she could sleep late if she wanted. 20 hours a week isn't much, I said. How could she afford to live? Well, she had her own little place. This cabin at the back of somebody's property. It wasn't anything fancy and the rent on that was cheap. Couple of rooms with a bath. It might have been kind of gardener's cottage to begin with. No insulation. She had no central heating and not a lot of kitchen to speak of. Just a microwave oven and a 2-burner hot plate. Refrigerator the size of a little cardboard box. The kind. She had electricity, running water, and a telephone, and that was about the extent of it. She could have fixed it up real cute, but she didn't want to bother. She liked it simple, she said, and besides, it wasn't all really that permanent. Rent was nominal, and that's all she seemed to care about. She liked her privacy, and people learned to leave her pretty much alone. Hardly sounds like an allergen-free environment, I remarked. Well, I know, and I said as much myself. Of course, by then she was doing better. The allergies and asthma were more seasonal than chronic. She might have an occasional attack after exercise or if she had a cold. Or she was us. The point is, she didn't want to live around other people. She liked to feel of being in the woods. The property wasn't all that big. 6 or 7 acres with a little 2-lane gravel road coming in along the back. I guess it gave her a sense of isolation and quiet. She didn't want to live in some apartment building with tenants on all sides, bumping and thumping and playing loud music. She wasn't friendly. She didn't even like to say hi in passing. That's just how she was. She moved into the cabin, and that's where she stayed. So you said she was found at the cabin? Do the police think she died there as well? I believe so. Like I said, she wasn't found for some time, nearly 2 weeks, they think, from the state she was in. You hadn't heard from her, but I didn't think much about it. I talked to her on Thursday night, and she told me she was taken off. I assumed she meant that night, but she didn't say as much. At least, not that I remember. If you recall, spring came in, the pollen count was high, which meant her allergies were acting up. Anyway, she called and said she'd be out of town for about a week or two. She was taking time off from work and said she was driving up to the mountains to see whatever snow was left. Ski country was the only place she found relief when she was suffering. She said she'd call when she got back, and that was the last I talked to her. I began to scribble notes. What date was this? April 19th. The body was discovered May 5th. Where was she going? Did she give her a destination? Okay, so now I'm kind of tripped out because this is lining up kind of with our calendar, and my niece's murder happened about this time too, so kind of trippy. Anyways, she mentioned the mountains, but she never did say where. Think that makes a difference? I'm just kidding, I replied. April seems late for snow. It would have been if she was going somewhere else. Did you get the impression she was concealing something? And I also have to say, it's supposed to be spring, saw the buds blooming to me, and then it started to snow. Freaking weather. Well, Lorna's not the kind to confide details. The other two, if they're going off on vacation, we all sit around with the travel brochures and hotel accommodations, like right now. Berlin saved her money for a trip, and we are always talking this cruise versus that oohing and ahhing. The fantasy's half the fun, is the way I look at it. Lorna said that just set up a lot of expectations and then reality would disappoint. She didn't look at anything the way other people did. At any rate, when I didn't hear from her, I figured she was out of town. She wasn't one to call much anyway, and none of us would have any reason to go to her place if she was gone. She hesitated, embarrassed. I can tell I feel guilty. Just listen to how much explanation I'm going into here. I just don't want to seem like I didn't care. It doesn't sound like that. That's good because I love that child more than life itself. Tears rose briefly, almost like a reflex, and I could see her blink them away. Anyway, it was someone she'd done some work for who finally went back there. What was her name? Oh, Serena Bond. I glanced at my notes. She's the nurse? That's right. What kind of work did Lorna have done for her? She house sat. Lorna looked after Miss Bonnie's dad sometimes. As I understand it, the old felt well, and Miss Bonnie didn't like leaving him by himself. I guess she was trying to leave town and wanted to talk to Lorna before she made reservations. Lorna didn't have any answering machine. Miss Bonnie called several times and then decided to leave a note on her front door. When she got close, she realized something was wrong. Janet broke off, not with emotion, but with the unpleasant images that must have been conjured up. After 2 weeks, the body would have been in very poor shape. How did Lorna die? Was there a determination as to cause of death? Well, that's the point. They never did find out. She was lying face down on the floor in her underwear, with her sweat clothes strewn nearby. I guess she'd come back from a run and stripped down from her shower, but it didn't seem like she'd been assaulted. It's always possible she suffered an asthma attack. But you don't believe it. No, I don't. And the police didn't either. She was into exercise? I find that surprising from what you've told me so far. Oh, she liked to keep in shape. I do know there were times when a workout made her wheezy and kind of short of breath, but she had one of those inhalers and it seemed to help. If she had a bad spell, she'd exercise, then take it up again when she was feeling better, but doctors didn't want her to act like an invalid. What about the autopsy? Reports right in here, she said, indicating the paper bag. There were no signs of violence. Janice shook her head. I don't know how to say this, I guess. Because of putrefaction, they weren't even sure it was her at first. It wasn't until they compared her dental records that she was identified. I'm assuming Oz was handled as homicide? Well, yeah, but even with the cause of death undetermined, it was considered suspicious. They investigated as a homicide, but then nothing turned up. Now it seems, you know how they do those things. Something else comes along, and they concentrate on it. Sometimes there isn't sufficient to make a finding in a situation like that. It doesn't mean they haven't worked hard. Well, I understand, but I still can't accept it. I noticed that she had ceased to make eye contact, and I could feel the wisp intuition crawling up along my spine. I found myself focusing on her face, wondering at her apparent uneasiness. Janice, is there something you haven't told me? Her cheeks began to tint as if she were being overtaken by a... I was just getting to that. Chapter 2. I'm kind of wondering if I should do this before going to music break, but I think I shall, and we'll just cut off where we do, but I'm kind of in suspense here. I actually like this book. I hope you do too. She reached into the brown paper bag again and pulled out a videotape in an unmarked box that she placed on the edge of the desk. About a month ago, someone sent us this tape, she said. I still don't know who, and I can't think why they do it except to cause us distress. Mace wasn't home. I found it in the mailbox in a plain brown paper wrapper with no return address. I opened the package because it had both our names on it. I went ahead and stuck it in the VCR. I don't know what I thought it was. A tape of some television show or somebody's wedding. I about died when I saw. Tape was pure smut, and there was Lorna, big as life. I just let out this shriek, and I turned it off, and I threw it in the trash as fast as I could. It was like I'd been burned. I felt like I should go wash my hands in the sink. And then I had second thoughts, because this could be evident. It might be into the reason she was killed. So let me clarify one point before you go on. This was the first you'd heard of it? You had no idea she was involved in anything like this? Absolutely not. I was floored. Pornography? There's no way. Of course, once I saw what it was, I began to wonder if somebody put her up to it. Like what? I don't understand, I said. She might have been blackmailed. She might have been coerced. For all we know, she was working undercover for the police, which they would not ever admit. What makes you say that? For the first time, she was sounding off, and I felt myself step back, viewing her with caution. Because we'd sue them, that's why. If she got killed in the line of duty, we'd go after them. I sat and stared at her. Janice, I worked for Santa Teresa Police Department myself for years. They are serious professionals. They don't enlist the services of amateurs. In a vice investigation, I find that hard to believe. I didn't say did. I didn't accuse anyone because that would be slander or libel, or one of them. I'm just telling you what's possible. Such as, well, she seemed to hesitate thinking about it. Well, maybe she was about to blow the whistle, or whoever made the film. To what end? It's not against the law to make pornographic film these days. But couldn't it be a cover for something else? Some other kind of crime? Well, sure it could, but let's back up a minute and let me play devil's advocate here. You told me the cause of death was undetermined, which means the coroner's office couldn't say with any certainty what she died of, right? That's right. Well, how do you know she had an aneurysm or a stroke or a heart attack? With all the allergies she suffered, she might have died from anaphylactic shock. I'm not saying you're wrong, but you're making a big leap here without a shred of proof. I understand. I guess it sounds crazy to you. I know what I know. She was murdered. I'm absolutely sure of it. But I can't get anyone to listen. And what am I supposed to do? I'll tell you something else. She had quite a lot of money at the time she died. Close to $5,000 worth of stocks and bonds. She had some money in CDs, but the bulk was in CDs. She had 5 or 6 different savings accounts too. Now, where'd she get that? How do you think she acquired it? Maybe somebody paid her off to keep quiet about something? I studied the woman, trying to assess her power of reasoning. First, she claimed her daughter was being blackmailed or coerced. Now, she was suggesting she was guilty of extortion. I set the issue aside temporarily and shifted my focus. How did the police react to the tape? Dead silence. I said, Janice. Her expression was stubborn. I didn't take it to them. I wouldn't even show it to Mace because he'd die of embarrassment. Lorna was his angel. He'd never be the same if he knew what she'd done. She picked up the tape and put it back in her paper bag, folding the top down protectively. I don't want to, but I'm going to have to put a marker right there and highlight where I left off so I don't reread stuff, but oh my. I'm actually really enjoying this book, and I hope you are too. And I was kind of like not sure if I'd like it, but I really do. So I'm glad this was the next in lineup because it's pretty exciting. So on this music break, boys and girls, we have once again our girl, Miss Mia Savage, with her group or band, Antidote for Savages, with one of my favorites. Man, I gotta turn this down. It's like hot. This mic is hot. Bury Me in Heaven, Not a Phase, Singing to Your Grave, and The Bottom Line. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this music break.
right now between fear and love.
Welcome back, Welcome Crew. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. Ooh, happy Easter. I hope you guys like the book. Like, I liked it too. It's pretty awesome. But right now, it's time for a creepy video. You ready for this? Okay, so this comes from an individual that I really respect and highly regard. And I'm being a bit more careful with that because it hasn't been working out too well for me as far as shadow people. Oh man, is it reloading? Okay, let's go. Uninspected. Sorry guys, didn't mean for you to see like my tire thing and stuff. Let's go. Loading, loading, loading. Get that video.
In just a few moments.
Holy shnikes.
Who are you?
It was like a big creature.
A big creature?
Yeah, just.
So I'm sitting out here on my deck, right? That bird isn't moving. And that one.
Hi, I'm James Fur, and you're watching the Impossible from aboard. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel with notifications on for more videos like this. Today we're going to be taking a look at the most mind-blowing, unexplained, and creepy videos that will definitely make you say no way. From bizarre and creepy encounters with creatures such as Bigfoot, underwater anomalies, and mysterious phenomena caught on camera, you're definitely in for a treat. Are you guys ready? Well, let's go.
Let's do this.
Now, I don't know about you, but when it's a beautiful night outside, I usually like to lay down and watch the stars, the moon and the sky in general, and I keep asking myself if it's really just us, human beings, as a rational and intelligent race in the universe. And I guess that most of the times, lots of people ask themselves this exact question. Is it just us, or is there maybe something else out there? Now recently the internet has been completely baffled by this topic, and there have been several videos popping up on social media and many other places that may be evidence of something else out there.
Oh wow, look at the ripples too.
I've never seen anything like it. It had a bunch of
Recent videos that have been baffling internet users all over social media was supposedly recorded in Everett in Washington. This is what was seen. Check this out.
Oh my goodness. That's intense. Seriously, that ain't no Marlai or Marlo. How do you say that? Marlai balloon? And those tinfoil ones?
Yeah, that's what it looks like. I've never seen anything like it. It had a bunch of sparkling lights on it and stuff.
At first, what appears to be a balloon hovering very slowly over Everett can be seen. Then, when the person zooms in, we can observe several tiny spots of light shining all over the object. Whatever this thing is, it's not producing any sound, as in a drone, so it's not one. And it might just not be a balloon. So what is it?
Looks like that backside
But
of
it
that
doesn't
angel
stop
thing.
there, and things just get even stranger in Bogota when a couple of weeks ago Lucas Villafañez captured something chilling while working at his home.
Hey, Beller.
Now Lucas has a very interesting social media profile. He posts things about his daily life. It has absolutely nothing to do with mysterious, strange or creepy things caught on camera. But in one specific occasion, Lucas noticed something really strange hovering just next to him, and he was able to capture it all on camera, and this is what he saw.
¿Qué onda, chabón? ¿Qué mierda es eso, boludo? ¿Lo grabé?
What appears to be a cylinder-type object can be seen hovering just next to Lucas' property. In the video, we can see it straight into the woods and disappear. Completely baffled by what he just saw, Lucas stayed there and recorded more videos in hopes of capturing it again.
Mueve con flor ahí, boludo. Había un objeto re raro, boludo, que fue volando de ahí hasta ahí, chabón, derecho. Hasta ahí, las mata, boludo, se metió. Estaba re zarpado, boludo. Capaz que sale de vuelta.
Yeah, I've seen this one before and it's super
After
trippy.
posting the video to his account, it amassed millions of views and thousands of comments. Internet users were divided and baffled. While some state it could be a drone or maybe a cableway of some sort, others left comments saying that this could actually be a mysterious object going into a cave, and this is the reason the object disappears straight into the woods. Now Lucas did his best and he went over to that mountain to find out more, and this is what he captured on camera.
Por el tamaño de los árboles, podemos darnos cuenta de que era bien grande lo que pasó por acá.
Really big,
Pasó por
yes.
acá y no sé si habrá sido ahí o ahí.
Oh, looks
Para
like
hacer
a
un
cable
teleférico
car.
no es porque cables no hay. Después un dron se escucharía. Esto hace mucho eco y no puede ser que pase un dron sin hacer ruido. Igual que un avión a control remoto lo mismo, haría ruido igual. Dejo su interpretación, ahí hay pura mata, no hay lugar para aterrizar.
It appears that whatever this thing was, it probably wasn't a drone, and it's not a cableway, so what is it? Curious, Lucas continued climbing the mountain as a cave. It could maybe answer why the object simply disappears. But I don't know, the cave doesn't seem to be as large as the object is.
It doesn't have
In
to
your
be.
opinion, what do you think is going on here? Could it be that this object went into a cave of some sort and vanished inside the mountain? And where did this object come from? What's your take? But these kinds of mysterious phenomena just keep occurring, and last week, a video went viral of what appears to be a glitch in the sky. The video was captured and the source is unknown. Check this out.
think I've seen this one too. Holy
Unfortunately, the
shnikes.
video is really short, maybe suggesting that this could be faked or something like that.
No.
However, if we pay attention to it and watch it over and over, we can see that the people on the street are all observing the same thing on that cloud. So if this is the real deal, whatever this thing is, it could be maybe a fleet of luminous objects. Drones or not, it's very difficult to say, or maybe an unexplained glitch of sort. What's your take? In 1979, in the small town of Ottosdal in South Africa, miners working in a pyrophyllite mine dug up mysterious metal spheres known as the Klerksdorp spheres.
I'm glad you like your
Now these
voice.
dark and reddish brown, somewhat flat is most likely evidence of a civilization that existed either or way before our history books.
Love you, boy. Happy Easter, my crazy Sunday Jim.
But when it comes to strange artifacts found in mines, there are quite a few, and a couple of weeks ago on January 25th, a TikToker by the name of Yura Amir28 shared a really strange what's supposed to be a sculpture of an angel that was supposedly dug up from a gravel pit 340 kilometers away from the Russian town of Zeya. In the video, the miners talk about how they excavated it from the ground and they take pictures with it, and they talk a little bit about how they regret doing so because they feel something odd about it.
Вот это да, короче, разрыли экскаватором. Такую, ну я скажу, эмоции просто не рассказать, душа куда-то аж упрыгивает. Не знаю, конечно, не описать, это просто не рассказать, почему так, что это такое. Ну там сейчас на вертолете прилетят все эти дела, и вот пока не приехали все эти товарищи, мы вот тут с ребятами.
Now, according to the uploader, they informed authorities who came and retrieved the statue by chopper and took it away. However, this is where things get strange and creepy. After the video was uploaded to TikTok, it amassed millions of views and thousands of comments, and internet users were completely baffled by it. Some left comments saying that the size and proportion of the head, the eyes, and the mouth are the same as the man around it, and that the face looks real, not carved, and that this might actually not be just a statue, but most likely some sort of petrified angel. Others compare this to a Simpsons episode where Lisa actually finds the skeleton of an angel during an excavation. There were even some internet users suggesting that the statue actually moves by itself at a certain moment. Check this out. Now, even though many internet users see the statue's face moving by itself, many others do not, like myself. What I do know, however, is that I have to agree with many internet users who state that there's a really creepy vibe to it, and I'm not exactly sure what it is, if it's the face or if it's the statue itself. Something about it just doesn't feel right. Now, to make things even stranger and a bit confusing, Irina Kachinga, the secretary at the Elga coal mine complex, released an official note stating that it was actually lying around there for quite a long time, and that the people working at that mine did not excavate it and just made up a story on it. But I'm gonna leave it up to you guys. Do you think this is indeed the statue of an angel that was excavated and maybe the Simpsons predicted it? Is it just a fake or made up video, or is it maybe something else entirely?
It's pretty awesome. Maybe parts of its clothing caught on fire, that's why it looks like that on the shoulders? I don't know.
Now, I don't know about you, but going camping all alone late at night in the woods isn't exactly the best of idea, unless of course you are a very experienced camper. There are many things that can happen, from getting lost in the woods to coming face to face with a bad-intentioned human being. The list goes on. Thing is, there are a number of people out there who would include another thing to this list, and that would be coming face to face with Sasquatch, Bigfoot type.
Oh snap.
All over the world, there
Could you
are
imagine?
thousands of supposed encounters with this tall humanoid being that people call Sasquatch or Bigfoot. And to be honest, there is little to no proof of it. But the little proof that there is enough for us to scratch our heads and keep us awake at night.
Uh-oh. Freaked out already. Oh my god, no. God.
In this video, for instance, originally uploaded by the Music Man on YouTube, a channel that does not exist anymore, Lucas and Jerome spot what appears to be Bigfoot just behind one of the trees. Moments before they can actually get closer to it, something happens and they run.
Hey! Hey! Hey!
Very strange
Wow.
noises.
That is very strange.
Seems to be coming from some kind of animal.
Now, Chris Dickinson lives in Oklahoma and runs the YouTube channel known as Sooner Sasquatch. And he is in constant search for what he calls the Sasquatch people. And mostly all of his videos are him in the middle of the woods camping in search for evidence of the existence of these creatures. And I would say that in some videos, Chris was able to capture some compelling evidence. In this specific video that we're about to watch, Chris was annoyed by something he heard late at night in his campsite. He leaves the campsite for just a brief moment to check the surroundings. And this is what happens.
There's something over here. It smells like something. God, it stinks. I'm by myself
For yourself?
in pitch dark. I have no light source. All I have is this night vision camera that I'm trying out.
Chris left his tent with a night vision camera and a not so good flashlight because he heard some sort of commotion happening just next to him. When he reached this specific place, he says that he feels this awful smell. Now at this specific moment, if I were Chris, I would have left this place and probably gone home. As Chris stayed there in hopes of capturing something on camera. What happens next will chill you to the bone.
When I was walking out, there was some commotion over here. So I came over here and it smells like a freaking animal. Whoa, the hell was that?
Did you see that? What appears to be a humanoid figure can be seen lurking and watching Chris silently, just behind one of the trees.
Oh yeah.
And if you watch closely, a breath of warm air escaping the creature's face in the cold night.
That's creepy.
Whatever's going on here, Chris realizes that he's not alone and that he's being watched, and he gets out of there as fast as possible. After watching this video countless times, I still can't make out exactly what is it that I'm looking at. All I know is that for a brief moment it looks as if it's a head with two dark eyes. Whatever's going on here, it could be Sasquatch or maybe something else. Whatever this thing is, it gives me the know why.
It's weird.
One of Chris' subscribers by the name of Earth Traveler left a comment saying that at 2 minutes and 7 seconds, something is peering out through the branches, then moves the branches aside and moves back, and then it peers out again, and that he sees something human-shaped. Alabama Sisters Paranormal says that she sees a huge canine head, but there seems to be a smaller one, or maybe it is just higher up in the tree. What do you think is going on here? Is it possible that Sooner Sasquatch actually caught evidence of the existence of something like a Sasquatch or a Bigfoot? Or is it maybe something completely different here? What's your take?
I don't know.
Usually when people are sitting down with friends or family during dinner time and start talking about unexplained topics, it's very interesting how everyone has an unexplained story to tell. The thing is, most of the times, there is a really good explanation to unexplained things caught on camera. Sometimes, there isn't.
Bro, what the is this?
Uh-oh.
What the
What is that?
way?
Holy
bro.
shit! Pardon-moi, s'il vous plaît, but what the crack?
Nobody's supposed to be up there, bro. What the face?
That guy's a ghost!
Oh my god, bro!
I'm telling you!
What the
That's a freaking ghost, man. Even my grandson would say, it's a ghost!
bro?
It's
bro.
a ghost!
Bro, bro, what the? No way.
Isn't that
And I guess
trippy?
this is exactly the case with a social media account by the name of ProHoodWinker.
Yeah.
She was casually recording a moment in her life during the afternoon when she noticed something really strange, something that neither her or anyone on the internet could explain. This is what she caught on camera.
What's up, guys? I'm watching this video on repeat. Your guys'
God, I've seen this
comments
one before.
are amazing. And someone just pointed something out that I cannot believe what I am seeing. Alright, you
Seriously.
see homeboys walk up to me with the dog, the strange dog, right? But check this out. Right here, at 42 seconds,
golden retriever.
you can see through dude
Happy
with the
golden
glasses as he's
retriever.
walking past the tree. You can see the tree through him. Watch this right here.
And
we
he
go.
walks towards it. Back into the
Hold up.
portal. Yeah. That was his buddy back in the day. Probably died in
As he's walking
warfare.
away. Right there, you see through the tree.
Apparently,
Yeah.
ProHoodWinker was recording a moment in her afternoon when these two guys come up to her and start arguing about something. Well, she posted the video to her account, and this is when one of her subscribers noticed that the guy in glasses is actually see-through, which is basically impossible. Some internet users are stating that this is just a camera glitch due to the effect of the sunlight being contrary to the camera lens. However, even if that were to be a good explanation, it would not explain how we can actually see through the guy in glasses.
And generally, two soldiers will go the same
After
direction.
the
Why
video
is this
went
guy
viral,
going a
many
different
internet
direction?
Users were divided. Some believe that this could actually be a glitch in the camera lens, while others think that this is a glitch in the simulation and that there is no explanation to it. So ProHoodWinker, in reply to many internet users that were in doubt, posted another video. Now in the second video we can actually see what she's talking about, and it's very clear. We can actually see through the guy in glasses.
That's what I'm saying.
Many internet users were left completely baffled by this video, and some suggest that this could actually be a
Why is he
legit glitch
glitching?
in the Matrix. But I'm not too sure about this. What do you think? Is it actually possible that we're living inside some sort of digital simulation, and that this video, for instance, is evidence of such thing, or is it maybe just camera illusion, or maybe something else? What's
I think
your
he could be a ghost, because like I said, why is he not going in formation with the other fella? Why is he walking toward to me as far as formations go.
In 2014, biologists Ron Douglas and Glenn Jeffrey conducted groundbreaking research to explore whether animals, including dogs, could see ultraviolet wavelengths. Their findings were very interesting to say the least. They concluded that certain animals, notably dogs and cats, are capable of perceiving frequencies invisible to the human eye. This discovery not only expanded our understanding of animal vision, but also opened up fascinating speculations about what these creatures might be seeing.
Leave it. Jamie, if you're backing away from it, then let's go.
Uh-oh.
Let's go. What are you doing?
There's something over there. Oh, no. Oh, guy. Yeah, they're scary. Look at the hackles on his back.
Here's the thing.
They're raised up.
This research suggests that dogs and cats might actually have access to realms beyond
the whole time.
human perception, potentially glimpsing into dimensions or realities unseen by humans. Some speculate that these animals could be sensitive to phenomena such as ghosts or paranormal events.
Oh my goodness.
I'm out here in my living room again, which is right by where that chair moved the other night. And I don't know, there's just been like scary shit going on around that. What was that? Oh, shit.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
It's not there. What?
From those where dogs and animals can be seen reacting in a very strange manner, sometimes barking or staring at absolutely nothing. From all of these videos that could maybe prove the existence of ghosts and entities, there's one in particular that recently caught my attention.
Is there a ghost?
The video was recently posted by a social media profile by the name of Emma Jean X07. Emma was spending the night at an Airbnb. It was just her and her dog when all of a sudden, her dog starts reacting as if there's someone there. Completely creeped out about it, she got her camera and immediately began to record. And this is what happened.
Is there a ghost? Yeah?
Yeah.
Where's the ghost?
Yeah. It's right there.
Right there?
Can you see where it's looking? It's right there.
Clearly disturbed, her dog continues on barking as if there's something there, something that Emma can't see. And intrigued but at the same time scared, Emma continued on recording, and this is what she caught on camera.
I'm just trying to see. Not trying to get all up in your face.
What? Did you see that? If we slow-mo and rewind the video, you can clearly see what looks like the shadow of a hand trying to reach out for Rosie, Emma's dog.
Yeah,
after being posted, the video amassed millions of views, and internet users all seem to agree that this has to be one of the best video evidence that may actually help prove the existence of ghosts and shadow people. But when it comes to creepy encounters with shadow people, it doesn't stop there. A couple of days ago, I came across a very strange and creepy video posted by a social media profile by the name of Declan. Now, Declan's parents usually post family vlog type videos in their TikTok page. There's nothing mysterious, creepy, or scary about it, with the exception of their latest video. Declan's mom was just about to check up on him while he was reading a book, when all of a sudden she captured something chilling on camera. Pay very close attention.
That scare me like that.
John!
Oh shit. What the crack? Can you rewind? Can we go back? Cause I didn't see that. Hello? You know, in certain places, algae does
What
grow.
at first looks like a person peeking out the window scares the heck out of Declan's mom. She runs outside to check what's going on, and this is when she realizes that there's absolutely no one outside. completely creeped out about it, she goes back inside and immediately locks her door. And after uploading the video to the internet, it amassed millions of views and left a lot of people divided. Some think that this could be or maybe a person, while others believe that this could be a legit paranormal encounter of some sort. Now taking into consideration the height of which window is at, if this were a person, it would have to be a very, very tall one. If we zoom out and rewind the video, you'll see that whatever this thing is, it appears to be wearing a cloak, and it also appears to be featureless, no face, no eyes, no mouth, no nose, which suggests that this could be a legit shadow person. Now, a shadow person or a jinn is described in certain cultures as a dark humanoid figure that usually wears a cloak and has no face.
Glowing eyeballs.
Now, taking everything into consideration, the height of the window, her reaction and everything else, this could be the real deal. But still, I'm not too sure. I want to know your thoughts.
I don't know.
Do you think that this could be a person stalking her house? Maybe a bear? Or something else entirely? What's your take?
Looks like the Reaper. Or some other rogue person to me. Very strange. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's creepy.
Now, I don't know about you, but whenever I travel along the coastline, I always look at the ocean and think
so
about how vast it is and how much of it is still unknown.
And also, if it's California, ain't getting in there because Japan ruined it for me and everyone else. Oh my goodness.
I mean, if you think about it, an area the size of the USA would fit 37 times inside the ocean. Quite a lot of space to cover. And as far as I know, we have covered only 20% of it. This kind of means that the ocean isn't of life that began 3.5 billion years ago. It's also home to many mysterious and unexplained accounts and stories of strange things that lurk beneath it. But apparently you don't need to go that deep to find yourself face to face with a very strange and unexpected situation.
Oh yeah, I've seen this. Trippy AF. Tell you what.
A couple of weeks ago, two fishermen
First
were
you see that
located
glow,
in Agua
then you
de
see the
Puerto
person
Rico in a
treading
region
water
known as
underneath?
Ridge Surf Beach. As you can see in Google Maps, this is a very shallow, very popular as a surfing spot. Usually you'll never find divers or anything like that in this specific spot of the beach. And this is precisely where a couple of fishermen were a few weeks ago when they were really strange in the water. Check this out.
Yeah, I'd say. Oh, look, look. You turned on enough. There's a buoy there.
What at first looks like some sort of luminous phenomenon can be seen just a few meters away from their boat.
Oh wow. Yeah, blinking on and off, and then it gets really bright.
In hopes of exactly what this thing is, the two fishermen now approach this mysterious luminous object carefully.
Bueno.
Wow, mira eso.
Look at that. Look, Yeah, and then all of a sudden you're gonna see something walking through it. Like, freaking
Seems that
weird.
the more they approach it, the more mysterious it becomes. It's not algae, it's actually like nothing they had ever seen before. And now completely baffled, the two fishermen decide to follow this thing around.
I just have to mention real quick, yes, there are algae, there's different plankton, different things like that do glow. They have that ultra, what do they call it? Ultroluminescence? There's even worms on Earth that do that. Kind of like inchworms that sometimes, between centuries, like, or whatever, come out. This is not that. This is weird. Really weird.
Just a little bit more. And this is what happens next. Check this out.
Yeah, when you see that person or that figure going through it.
Mira, empezó en el puente y está en la boya, era en la boya.
Yep.
El puente está a mano izquierda, a mano izquierda.
Oh, there goes.
Mira, mira eso.
Walking through the water. Oh. Ay. Seriously? No.
Yo no sé qué carajo es eso, dale para atrás. Si no quieres saber, dale. Dale.
Let's get the fuck out of here. Seriously.
Dale.
Did you see that?
Look back.
It looks like a humanoid being can be seen pacing very quickly underwater just next to this mysterious luminous object. And notice how at a certain moment there you can actually see very clearly its two glowing eyes.
Oh my god. But I see it.
The fishermen try their best to capture it all on camera, but when they realize that whatever this thing is possibly not human or from this world, they flee
I've seen the
as
figure
fast
before,
as possible.
but not the glowing eyes. I'm blown away. Dale, un beso.
Dale. Quiero saber, no quiero saber, dale.
I don't want to know. I don't want to know. Come on, let's go. Yeah.
No. Dale.
After being uploaded, the video amassed
Those
millions
guys were
of views
really
and
smart.
thousands of comments, and the internet you baffled. Some think that this is just a diver, even though the two fishermen clearly
No
seem
way, dude.
frightened and convinced that
Divers
this is
swim
something
like
else.
this, not like
Other internet
we
users
walk
believe
along
this
the
is
surface
something
of the
far
ocean.
more sinister. Many left
the
comments
crack?
stating that whatever this thing is, it's pacing too quickly underwater to be a regular. Not only that,
Freaking weird.
many internet users seem to agree that its two glowing eyes, or whatever this thing is, might not be human at all.
No, seriously.
So whatever is going on here, this is possibly not just a regular diver. It might just be something else entirely. But what? What's your take? What do you think that luminous object is? And what about the humanoid figure? Is it a human being? Or is it maybe something else?
I think it's alien. That's what I think, but
Being a police
I don't know
officer
shit.
isn't exactly the easiest of jobs. And I guess that we can all agree that most cops have seen it all. After all, it's the nature of the job to be exposed to virtually everything America has to offer. Researching a bit about the topic, I found out that it's not exactly the most uncommon thing for policemen to actually get calls from people asking for help to deal
Oh my
with
gosh.
the paranormal.
Even Ghostus.
And this is exactly
Ghost,
the case
yeah.
with the video that was uploaded by Julian Petit a couple of months ago.
minute.
In this 4-minute video, police officers are called to help a woman who believes her house has been broken into. But
Oh,
when
wow.
they find absolutely no one inside, things start to get weird. This
Yeah, I've
is
seen
what
this
was
one.
caught on one of the police
Creepy.
officers' body cam. Check this out.
I left for a while to go shopping, and when I came home, the door was open. I think somebody broke in.
Does anyone live in the house?
Yes, my husband, myself, and our 2 kids, but they're out of town right now. They're with his parents.
And how many rooms do you have?
2 upstairs and 1 downstairs.
Sweet.
All right, we're gonna have to go and search the house. Is it okay if we go in?
Yeah, of course.
You don't have any like pets or dogs or anything?
No.
Nope.
Just stay here, bro.
Nope. Oh my goodness.
Police! If anyone's here,
Please
make
open
yourself
up.
known.
Yep. This is so creepy. I had something like this happen
Police!
23 years ago in my apartment. I heard noise in my back bedroom and looked gravely, and there was nothing there, but the back window was open. So perhaps it was the sound of somebody jumping the fence. So yeah, I called the cops because it was just me and my daughter, Kinsey, and I was afraid. I think it was something else. Creepy, dude. Seriously.
Anyone inside?
Nope.
While sweeping the woman's house, one of the police officers comes face to face with a strange situation. After he opens one of the closet doors, it seems to bang shut by itself, just behind him. At this point, if I were the police officer, I would be getting the heck out of there. I can't imagine the pressure they're feeling right now. But these police officers are brave, and they continue on sweeping the woman's house, and this is what happens next. Check this out.
Uh-oh.
Police! Anyone inside, make yourself known.
Look at, just open the door. It's like, come on in. Holy crap. How are you not looking behind the door? Come on, yeah, there we go. Turn around, look behind the door. Turn around. Oh my gosh. Totally creeped out.
In the video, we can see one of the doors apparently opening by itself, and I guess the police officer noticed it too. He then goes inside the room because after all, it's his job. He checks it out, and then he gets out. When he's about to go downstairs, something chilling happens and he catches all of it on camera. Check this out.
Downstairs clear.
Really? Kinda creeped. Gotta be honest. Kinda creeping me out right now. I'm getting the chicken skins. Oh no. Beep beep. Sorry, my legs are like doing that jumpy thing.
Yeah, we're good.
When the police officer is about midway down the stairs, he hears what appears to be footsteps just behind him, and in the video we can hear it very clear. Completely baffled, it's as if the police officer acknowledges that there's something invisible there, something that he can't deal with. So knowing that there's absolutely nothing else that they can do, they call it a day. After the video was posted, internet users were divided. Some believe the video is staged or fake somehow. Others think that this is the real deal. Not only that, some even say that when the cop's about to go downstairs, when he looks back the last time, we can supposedly see a shadowy figure inside one of the rooms. And even though I'm not sure I can see a figure inside the room, this is one of the creepiest videos I've watched so far. That is about it, but it gives me the chills.
Seriously.
But when it comes to shadowy figures, there are two videos that were uploaded recently that may actually prove their existence. But before I go on, let me explain a little bit about shadow people.
Okay.
They are usually claimed to be viewed as unrecognizable, fleeting shadows out of the corner of an observer's eye. Some people experience them as a dark mass, others sometimes in a humanoid shape.
Yeah.
Most people report feeling some sort of evil intent coming from them, and sometimes not being able to distinguish their face features. These entities have been observed throughout all humanity, and to this day, no one knows if they're just a figment of our imagination or if they're the real deal. Now, recently, a social media account by the name of
was just going back and forth in front of my doorway.
Captured one on camera.
Or just standing there in the corner.
Hey, no, stay there. Hey. Oh my God.
Uh-oh.
Dude. It's okay. It's okay.
In the video, PK Project appears to capture a shadowy figure sitting down on his couch. If this wasn't strange enough, what makes it even stranger is the fact that he apparently has a dog with him, and it seems to be reacting to whatever this thing is.
So creepy.
Some internet users seem video is real, while others state that this is most likely CGI or just an edit. And after watching the video for a couple of times, I've noticed that whatever this thing is, I can't make out any of its features. But because I don't see a dog in the video and there's no more information about it,
I just have to
becomes
say
very
real
hard to
quick,
say it.
thank you all so much for joining me tonight on We Are Paradox Media's Late Night in the Rockies. Thank you so much for joining me and not giving up on me after last night's events. Contrary to what Travis Williams just thought, I did not plan that. Could you imagine if I had? Pretty messed up. Anywho, thank you so much for joining me on We Are Paradox Media's Late Night in the Rockies. All the different places that you can listen on your podcasts, YouTube, StreamYard, wherever the heck you're listening. Thank you so much for being here with us. Is it just me, but the music sounds kind of slow? Kind of weird. Anywho's, please take care of each other, take care of yourselves. Let's lift each other up out of this darkness that we know as our world right now. I do believe that here eventually it's going to get a bit better, but I swear to God, it's going slow time. This is so weird. Why the heck is this happening? But anywho's, nighty night, love and light to all my peeps out there. For those of you on YouTube, StreamYard, other places, please hang on. We'll finish this video, but my God, thank you so much for joining me and putting up with my BSery. Night night, love and light. Take care of my use. Alrighty, let's continue, shall we?
This is the real deal.
Real deal,
Things are a bit
Holyfield.
different in another video posted by Joe Brown Ghost. In this video, a family is playing with a dog when all of a sudden this happens. Check this out.
Uh-oh. Did you? Oh, wow!
Oh my God, what's in there?
There's a little spirit child out there playing with that dog.
I got that. Oh my God, I got that.
That is so awesome.
Oh my God.
The dog's like,
Did you see that?
That's
what
pretty
appears to be
awesome.
a patch of white mess can be clearly seen in
Yes,
the
a little
video,
girl
apparently playing
running.
with the
There
dog.
she goes.
A
Could
ghost
be a little boy
lady
too, but
or
I
something
feel like it's
else
a little girl.
entirely. What is going on here in this video? Have you ever experienced something paranormal with your pets? And do you think that dogs and cats can actually see these entities somehow?
I really do. I truly do believe that. Yeah.
Well, this is it for now, but we do have more videos. Don't forget to check them out, and don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel with notifications on
Like I
for
said,
more videos like this.
that is impossible.
Also, if you'd like to contact me about strange,
Make sure you tune in to the most unexplained mysteries. Okay, anywho's, that is impossible. Please tune into that. But listen to what he says really quick. If you want to contact him or send him any videos, go here.
videos or strange stories that you'd like to share with me, thatimpossiblechannel@gmail.com. And I'll
Heck yes. That was awesome. Awesome. Thank you for the one person that was here for me tonight after last night. It really did help me a lot to get through my struggles as far as last night went. And Travis, that I intentionally did that. If you notice, his artwork is no longer here in my forefront, and it just makes me really sad that he thought that about me. And then my friend, Mr. Hauser, other people were saying this fella's disrespectful. Don't let him get you down. And so thank you for that, because I never knew that. And I just want to say once again, happy Easter. I know tomorrow is the original first day of the year. So happy New Year to those of you that actually look to and take advantage of this calendar. And I want to say once again, thanks for being my friend, and thanks for hanging out with me, and I hope you had an awesome Easter. I feel really bad because I was sick today. I think it was stress from last night. I was very nauseous and was getting cold sweats this morning, and it was not really fun, but I did get to give my kids their Easter presents. I sent the other presents for my older kids to the ranch where everybody was meeting, and I just felt really bad that I couldn't be there, but I hope that you guys know at this time and this point of our lives, we really need to show up and be here for each other, just like Chris and Mia did for me last night. And nighty night, love and light. Take care of my yous, take care of each other, and I'll see you back here, same time, same crazy place.